When I was 13, I built my first website, a simple blog that hosted guides and walkthroughs for my favorite online games. Think things like Poptropica and Neopets. I used a platform called Blogspot, went with the default template, and started writing articles for fun, like any normal kid does. But what I didn't realize at the time is that this casual hobby would end up fueling my love for computer science and entrepreneurship. But after a while, I didn't want to keep using the boring default template. I wanted to customize my website and build cooler pages and apps, but for that, I needed to learn how to code. So I started reading every HTML and CSS tutorial I could find, and I even checked out books from my local library. I quickly fell in love with coding, but the learning curve was brutal. My school didn't have computer science courses, most online tutorials at the time weren't the best, and many of these library books were outdated. I mean, who in the world reads a book about how to code? That's why I spent a lot of time on developer forums like Stack Overflow, asking actual adult software engineers my dumb coding questions, praying for any help that I could get. Someone literally responded with, "This is a trivial question." So to save you from this struggle, today I'm showing you how to build your first website or app with zero coding experience. So the world of programming has significantly changed since I built my first website. In fact, it's made a complete 180 in the past few years alone. For the longest time, coding was a manual, tedious process. You'd write some code, then you'd test the code, then the code would break, and then you'd cry, and then you'd finally fix the code, and the cycle would repeat. However, over the last few years, AI has completely changed the way we program. We live in a world where instead of writing code ourselves, we tell AI what to write and then fill in the gaps. This allows us to take any idea and turn it into a functioning prototype within hours, if not minutes. That's why I'm so incredibly excited to be partnering with Warp for today's video. This is an AI tool you can use to bring any idea to life. And yes, it is free to use. They have a pro plan you can upgrade to if you want higher usage limits, but the free plan is more than enough for most people, and probably would have been life-changing for 13-year-old Gohar. So to start, we're gonna head to warp.dev to download their application, and then this is what you should see when it's finished installing. Okay, so what exactly is Warp? Warp is an AI-powered coding environment where you work side by side with agents. All that simply means is that this is a space where you code with the help of agents or AI bots that can do work for you. So instead of writing all the code by hand, you simply write or even speak to the agents with prompts, guiding them until your project is complete. So this whole UI was built for working with agents, as it includes a code editor, a terminal, and an agent dashboard. But why would you need an agent dashboard? Because you can work with multiple agents at the same time. So for example, as one agent works on your front end, meaning the parts that users see like images and forms, another agent can work on the back end, or the parts that users don't see, like your database. Yeah, users really shouldn't see that. This multi-agent capability allows you to build apps way faster than you can by using traditional AI tools. And I can't believe I'm saying traditional AI tools as if they're somehow outdated, but that just goes to show how fast everything is moving. So let's go ahead and see this magic in action. Okay, so today we are using Warp to build something I've wanted to for the longest time, a Chrome extension that quizzes me on articles that I read. So I love learning random stuff about the world by reading news articles, Wikipedia pages, and anything else I can find online. But the problem is I quickly forget what I read. Now, an effective way to retain information is to quiz yourself, and that's where this extension is going to come in. After I finish reading an article, I'll activate this extension to generate 5 to 10 multiple choice questions about the text. If I get a question right, great. But if I get a question wrong, the extension will highlight the part of the article I forgot about. I think this extension will be especially useful for students, so follow along if you want to build yourself a copy. Okay, so we're going to start at the drawing board. Building a tool like this isn't terribly difficult, but we should have a rough plan in mind. On the front end, we're going to have the actual pop-up interface for the Chrome extension. In other words, this is the window that appears when people actually activate it. It's a dashboard where users will see questions, answers, and feedback. Now on the back end, we'll need the logic that actually takes the article, generates the quiz questions, and then sends them back to the front end. Think of this as the engine that's powering the quizzes. So here's the user flow. We read the article, we click the extension sends the article text to the backend generates quiz questions, the quiz displays in the pop-up, and then we answer questions and get feedback about what we didn't understand. So let's take this to Warp. So we're going to start by creating a new project in Warp, and the process is very simple. Just click this button and say what you want to build. Build a Chrome extension that quizzes me on articles I read. The extension should have a pop-up where I answer multiple choice questions, a backend that uses AI to generate those questions from the article text, and a feature that highlights the parts of the article I got wrong. Please organize the plan into steps for the front end, the back end, and how everything connects together. Okay, and right away, Warp is developing a plan for our request and breaking it down into steps that the agent can take. For example, it's going to create the project directory, build the front-end pop-up, implement the AI question generation, and so on. And without skipping a beat, the agent jumps right into the building process. All we have to do is click on this run button here whenever we want to take an action. But this can get a little tedious, especially for larger projects. Luckily, Warp has something called autonomous mode, which will let the agent do everything on its own. Here's how to enable it. Go to settings and choose always allow for apply code diffs, read files, and execute commands. And now the agent will run on its own. All we have to do now is sit back, relax, and watch our project come to life. You know what, let me grab a snack and come back in a bit. Okay, so it seems like it's made some good progress here. And to see what the agent has done so far, just click on this chip down here to view the task list. As you can see, we're about halfway through the build, and then if you click on this chip right here, you can see the diffs, or the code that the agent has written. Let's cut to the part where the extension is done. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes and the agent is telling us that the project is complete. I've successfully created a complete Chrome extension project for article quizzing. So this message right here shows us what it built, the key features it implemented, and how to actually run this thing. Let me go ahead and set this up quickly and show you the extension in action. Okay, so here we have an article from NPR titled Why Solar Flares Are Hotter Than Researchers Thought. Perfect, this is actually a pretty cool topic that I definitely want to learn about, so let's go ahead and activate the extension. And would you look at that, it's actually working. A task like this back in the day would take hours upon hours, and that too if you knew what you were doing. Let's go ahead and click on Start Quiz and see what happens. And perfect, we have 5 multiple choice questions about the article. So I'm going to go ahead and choose some random options here by improving satellite technology, James Drake, and finish quiz. And as you can see, we got a 2 out of 5. Clearly I missed some important parts of this article, but if we just click on show highlights, we can see what exactly we missed. Okay, so this is not what we expected. We wanted the extension to highlight phrases and sentences related to what we missed, not individual words. No worries though, because let me show you how easy it is to fix bugs and make changes using Warp. Okay, so I want to make 2 changes to this extension. First, I want each question to have 5 options instead of 4. And second, I want to fix this weird highlighting bug. And with Warp, we can do both at the same time by using its multi-agent system. Yes, that sounds fancy, but it's very simple. Think of it as having multiple robots working on your app at the same time. For example, we can dedicate one to updating the quiz and another to fixing the highlighting bug. All we have to do is prepare separate prompts for each agent. Okay, so do you see the box down here where it says Warp Anything? This is where the magic happens. This box isn't just for running computer commands. It's for actually speaking to Warp using natural language. So this box toggles between 2 modes. Terminal mode when you actually want to run a computer command, and then agent mode when you simply want to talk to the agent in English. By default, Warp will automatically determine which mode you're trying to use. So for example, if I want the quiz to generate 5 options instead of 4, I just have to type that in. Update the quiz so it generates 5 options for each question instead of 4. And now it's going to use agent mode. However, we're not going to run this just yet. In a separate tab, I'm going to prepare the prompt for the bug fix. Since this one's a little more complicated, I'm not going to type it. I'm going to speak it. Let's click on this mic icon right here and then just say what we want. It seems like the extension is simply highlighting words related to my incorrect answers. I would like it to highlight actual sentences and phrases related to the material I don't understand. Perfect. Now let's run both prompts at the same time. And they are going at it. So since we've set these agents to autonomous mode, we can just sit back and relax as our changes come to life. All we have to do is monitor the agent status. And that is super easy by looking at the tabs up here. Purple means in progress, yellow means the agent needs our attention, red means there's an error, and the green check means the agent is done. You can also view these statuses by clicking on this little rocket icon up here. Now if we want to be even nosier, we can view each agent status by clicking on this little chip. Seems like they're making good progress, so let's come back when they're done. Perfect. See those green checks on the tabs? That means the agents are done. And they've also given us summaries of the work they've completed. So let's go ahead and reload our extension and see these updates in action. Let's click on Start Quiz and perfect. We have 5 options instead of 4. All right, and I got a 2 out of 5 again. But let's just see if the highlighting feature works now. All right, moment of truth. This is actually my first time testing this. And would you look at that? We have red highlights, which indicate key ideas we've missed. We have blue highlights, which indicate supporting ideas. And the best part is, I didn't even ask for the red and blue highlights specifically. The agent just decided to go the extra mile. Technology is crazy, man. Now, if we want to keep making changes, Warp makes it very easy to go back and forth with the agent. So if we want to update our extension, we can just go ahead and click on this chip down here. And this activates the code review panel, a feature that is very special to Warp. It allows us to 1, easily review the diffs, which is the code that the agent wrote, and then 2, seamlessly reprompt the agent. In other words, have it update our code. Reprompting is one of the most powerful features because this is how we get to the final version of the app that we want. Yes, these agents can sometimes spit out an app or a website that's great as is, and Warp in particular might be able to do that since it is #1 on Terminal Bench and scored top 3 on SWE Bench. However, most of the time we do want to go in and make some of our own changes as well. So let's go ahead and scroll through these diffs to find a part of the code that I want to update. Okay, so this is the part of the code that styles the highlights. And look, I like the red and blue highlights, but I want them to be solid colors and not gradients. So if I just click on this comment icon right here, I can add this chunk of code as context to the chat, and then I can just simply ask it to make the requested changes. I want the highlights to be solid colored, not gradients. And look at that, our highlights have been updated. But for even smaller changes, it doesn't really make sense to rely on the agents. It's sometimes just faster for us to go in and make the change ourselves. So luckily, if we have a diff open, we can just go ahead and do that right here. Or we can use Warp's lightweight file editor. So to use it, just go ahead and click on this icon up here to activate the file explorer, and then just click on the file that you want to edit. In this case, let's go with content.js. Perfect, and now the code editor pane has opened, so let's go and scroll through until we find the part we want to change. We must change that to orange. Nice. Okay, and with that, I think our extension is ready. Let me know if you guys actually want me to release this thing. In total, this whole process took about an hour. And if this is how far we've come with coding in just the past few years alone, I cannot wait to see where it's headed in the future. Huge thank you again to Warp for sponsoring this video. We're doing another video with them next month, so let me know what we should build then. In the meantime, I'm gonna try to figure out how to time travel so I can show this to 13-year-old Gohar. For a limited time, my friends at Warp are offering their Warp Pro plan for $1. Use my code Gohar at go.warp.dev/Gohar.